Hi everyone, this is Elisa from Anaya's Toolbox Crochet, and I'm here to tell you what I've been up to. Thank you so much for coming. I do love showing off my makes, and I'm so glad you come week after week to see it. You can find me as Anaya's Toolbox on social media you can find me on social media as Anaya's Toolbox on Instagram, Facebook, Ravelry, and Etsy. Okay, so what I've been up to, I have one FO, and this is it, the Peekaboo Shells blanket. I showed it to you last time. Let me find my stitch marker. Where was it? Okay, I showed it to you last time. I was almost finished. I do make these, although they're not intended to go to Boggy Creek. I just want to keep that option in case I want to give it. I do make them the size to go to Boggy Creek. I showed you this. I was wanting to make a rectangular version of this Peekaboo blanket, Peekaboo Shells blanket. I learned the stitch from one of Bag O' Day's stitch tutorials. And so I was experimenting. I wanted a rectangle because I just prefer rectangle blankets over square blankets. There's nothing wrong with square blankets. I just prefer the rectangle. And so I decided I'm going to make a rectangle, and it turned out to be a square. I can't show you the whole thing, but you could see it's a square. I was right here last time I showed it off. Where did I go with the stitch marker? It's right there. Right here, and I added this much. I did buy extra yarn because I felt like it needed green, and I regret it. I mean, it's fine. I'll use that yarn. It's just, I didn't need that much more rows to get to the right size, and I didn't check properly. If I had checked, then I would have known, but I didn't. Go back to my notes to see how big a Boggy Creek blanket is supposed to be, and because of that I ended up buying more yarn and I didn't end up needing it. But anyways, this is it. It is done. All the ends are weaved in. It is ready to go, and right now I'm going to take the stitch marker off because I showed it to you. So that was my square. This is my only FO that I have to show you. I know it's been 2 weeks since came on. Last week, I don't know what happened. I think it was tiring after work. Like, I have been filming after work. Today's Saturday, but recently I've been filming after work on days. Ooh, what happened here? On days where my son has after school, because I have to kick everybody out of the living room to film, so I thought it'd be easier when nobody else is home. But it didn't happen. I was just so tired this week. I mean, every week is rough, I guess. I look after, I'm a teacher's aide at a preschool, and the preschool is a special needs preschool, so it could get really, really tiring. And I was very tired after work. Every day this week, I was like, all right, I'm going to film this day, and it didn't happen. And then the next day, I'm definitely going to film it. I didn't film. But anyways, that's what I made last week. Then I showed you this. I took off the stitch marker because I ended up putting it in the laundry to see if I could get some stretch, because if you look in here, it's tight. I didn't get any stretch. I have to still add more rows. I actually FO'd before I reached the length because I was thinking if it stretches, it's going to stretch up as well as across sideways. And so I FO'd, put it through the laundry. It did not stretch at all. I'm just gonna have to live with it. I did my best, but it's really disheartening, I think, knowing that I should have just kept that extra. Like, I had done an extra row of increases here, and then it looked like it was swimming in there, and so I undid it, and then I undid that extra row, and I wish I kept it. Or I wish that once I did this part, I had switched to a bigger hook so that everything would fit in properly. Right now, I don't know if you could tell, it fits in kind of like this. It's a bit wrinkly inside, but I'm just gonna leave it. It is what it is. I can't change it. I am not frogging it and redoing it. That would be a nightmare because I'm holding 3, sometimes 4 strands of yarn together in this. It's just going to be what it is, but because it's been disheartening, I haven't had the motivation to finish it. I'm really close. I think I need about 4 more rows up here, and then I just need to do the lid, and then it'll be done. And I will get it done. But right, and oh, it won't, if I still want to do the handle, because I was thinking of doing a handle, I would do a handle here to here so you could swing it over your shoulders. I still have that to do. So it's not, I guess it's not as almost finished as I thought it was. But you know, I wish it would just stretch a little bit. I really do. I put it to the laundry. I don't have blocking boards. It's a conscious decision for me not to get it because I don't have space to put blocking boards. I really, really don't. And so I never bought blocking boards. And so I couldn't, like, even though I wet it and washed it, I couldn't stretch it with anything because I couldn't find anything big enough to put in here to stretch it. It is what it is. I just have to live with it, you know? I'm going to finish it at some point, but right now, I'm just feeling a little about this project. All right, what else do I have to show you? All right, here we are. There's this and this is my daughter's top. She asked me to make her a top with a lot of negative ease and long puffy sleeves, or long big sleeves. Ooh, it's a bit wrinkly. And so this is what I have. This is where I was. The stitch marker is where I was last time I showed you. I'm making this with, okay, I've heard this stitch being called lemon peel stitch, and I've also heard it being called linen stitch. So it is one of those stitches. It is where you do a single crochet, then a double crochet all the way across the row, and then on the top of it, when you come around again, you do the double crochets on top of the single crochets and the single crochet on top of the double crochet. That is the stitch I'm using. It's gonna, I'm doing a very simple, because she also wants a V-neck, and also I'm not sure how to make something with lots of negative ease because you have to plan it on the shoulders if I do it raglan style. So I'm making 2 panels. I'm going to seam them together, and then I will put the sleeves in afterwards. This is the back panel. I like doing the back panel first because I'm going to be able to, when I'm trying to figure out the neckline, I'll be able to do that better because I know what size it's supposed to be, how tall it's supposed to be. But this is where I am. I haven't worked on it much. Like, this is all last week's work. I haven't worked on it too much. I don't know. I'll get into that later. But anyways, I'm just switching my stitch marker to the top so you can see it properly. This one, I'm using Kobu yarn. Oops. Not showing. There it is, Kobu, which is from Lion Brand. I do like it. It's a mix of cotton and bamboo, and I really, really like. I have made a top with Trubu before, and I have other tops that I made with the higher bamboo content than cotton. I think it has cotton in it, but it definitely has bamboo or tencel or something, and those are a lot more splitty than this Kobu. This cotton really stabilizes it, so it's not very splitty, and it's beautiful and wonderful to work with. I am enjoying this yarn. In fact, I'm thinking, like, I have some leftovers, and I'm thinking of making a shawl with them. I probably will. I'm not sure which shawl yet, but I'll probably make a shawl with them. I have and some one-offs, and put them together and make a shawl. But for now, this is what I'm working on this. I haven't really touched it in a while, honestly. I don't know why. There's nothing wrong with this project. I do enjoy it when I'm making it. I just haven't gravitated towards that project. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is I'm making another Peekaboo Shells yarn blanket with the yarn I ordered that I didn't need to. And here it is. It is finally a rectangle. I got it. I got it, my friends. I got the rectangle shape. So the difference between this one and this one is that I did the same method, but here I made 6 shells to begin with. And in this one, I made 8 shells to begin with, right here. 8 shells. Anyways, it's done. It's got the same, not the same colors, although some of the colors are the same, especially in the center. It's got the same colorways because I had bought this this is Hirschner's 8 yarn, and I had bought that to make that one, and I have a lot left over, so I'm like, okay, I'll just make another one with the same colorway. And it's beautiful. I am loving the colors and everything, and Hirschner's 8 is a lot nicer than I remember it to be. I remember it to be more like Red Heart Super Saver, like the old Red Heart Super Saver. Now it's not so bad. It's actually pretty nice. It's better than, not all Premier Basics is bad, but this particular skein of Premier Basics that I got with this blush pink was kind of really, really stiff. And this is so much softer. I think overall, compared to this blanket, if I just squish it to this blanket, this one is softer. And the difference is the yarn. This is mostly, like, actually for the rest of this this blanket, I might, except for this color, I have a lot of the Hirschner's Basics of all these colors. I might end up putting, I do have colors like this already. I will add that, and the rest of it is just going to be Hirschner's 8 yarn. And I think it's turning out nicely. It is really, really pretty. This pattern is a very pretty pattern. If you like it, I really highly recommend watching Bag-O-Day stitch tutorial. It will be linked down below on how to make it, and go ahead and make it. It's beautiful. It'll be a square one. This I experimented and made into a rectangle, and I failed because this one turned into a square, remember? Oh, it's so hot with it on me. It's not a hot day, but man, I'm hot with all that on me. But anyways, this is it. It is not done. I have quite a few rows left to go, but I am enjoying making it sometimes. Okay, I did enjoy it until now. I just felt triumphant that I actually got a rectangle, because guess what? It's a rectangle. I'm going to show it again because it is, whoopsies, I pulled out some stitches. A rectangle. Oh, by the way, I'm using a 7mm hook for this. I'm using a 7mm hook for this. I used a 7mm hook for this one too. Anyways, I finally got the rectangle and I am so happy. But now that I have it, and I'm just going around and around and around doing the peekaboo shells, I think it's just because I just finished this and I just made this. It's dragging a bit. It really is. I will finish it, don't get me wrong. It's just I'm feeling like, whew, this is taking a while. Just because I already finished it recently. Like, until the rectangle, to get it to be a rectangle, the only difference is the beginning and how you start the beginning compared to a square. And once you got it, you're doing the exact same thing as you did on the square into the rectangle. But it is what it is. I do like it. I like the colors. I think it's bright. It's not exactly my colorways, but I do think they look good together. And this is it. So, that's all I've been working on. So what else should I say? I'm feeling a little frustrated with, I forgot to show this one. This is the one I'm working on right now. It's a Just Feel festive shawl. Now, I think I mentioned before, sorry, I just pulled out a stitch, I'm putting it back in. I think I mentioned before that I am feeling satisfaction using up all this yarn that I have. And so I pulled out this one. This is K&C. It's a very different yarn. Let me get it out so I could show it to you. This is what the yarn looks like. So it's got little like polka dots on it, and I thought it would be so interesting to make an amigurumi out of this, and I bought 2 of them when I went to Joann's a few years ago. It is years, like lots. I'm like 3, 4, maybe even 4 years ago. I went to Joann's and I bought this, and I immediately tried to make an amigurumi with it, and I had the hardest time. And so I ended up frogging it, and I've had these 2 skeins of yarn lying around. So I decided, hey, it's time to do something with this yarn. So I chose this shawl, which is the Just Feel festive shawl. It is a pattern by Kalisha Ryan. I think it's not that much. I think it's about $1. When I got it, it was free. It's not free anymore. But anyways, I paired it with this yarn right here, which is yarn that I got. It comes like this. Years ago on eBay, I bought these yarns. I think it's a Chinese yarn. And I loved it. And I used to make amigurumi with it. And I had a lot left over, but I wasn't making amigurumi with it anymore. And so I did make shawls with the colors, meaning the reds, the yellows, the blues, you know, the colorful ones. I did make a shawl with that one. And I still had the neutrals. And so I picked up all the neutrals, which was this gray, and this color, and I had a dark brown, but once I started working on it, I didn't feel like the dark chocolatey color really went with the shawl, so I didn't end up using it. And I decided I'm going to put those together and make this Just Feels Festive shawl. I did end up, because this gray, I had very little of it, I finished it right here. And so I did end up picking up the leftovers of the last shawl I made. This is a Hobbii Tenso yarn, and putting those in here. It's finished. This is the last bit of it. And I ended up getting another Hobbii Rainbow. It's a little thicker than the rest of the yarn, but so is this when the bubble works out, so I think it's okay. This is a 2-weight yarn, and I don't know, these ones don't have labels on it, but I think it's a 1-weight yarn. And this is the Hobbii Twister Solids, leftovers from the top I made. It's a whole skein. I have actually 2 skeins of it, but so far I've only used bits of one for the purple. And I figured, let me just hold it this way, because then it won't. Yeah. Okay, never mind. So this is Hobbii Twister Solids. It's the leftovers from the top I made. I had 2 cakes of them left over, so I put one of the cakes in here. I am loving the colorway. I think it's not my colorway. Like, honestly, I probably, actually, yeah, maybe I'd wear it. But I love the way the colors look together. I am enjoying this, but I'll be honest with you, the reason I am working this particular pattern is that this yarn was so difficult to work with when I was doing the amigurumi that I was afraid of doing too complicated a stitch with this yarn. And so I just did the granny stitch, and I like the granny stitch, kind of. I mean, I don't mind it. It's not my favorite stitch. This is probably like the 4th Just Feel Festive shawl I made. Not because of the granny stitch, but I like the asymmetrical look of it. And it's easy and fast. And so I have, this isn't finished, by the way. I am going to work until this yarn is finished. And I think I'm going to have to pull out some more of my Hobbii Rainbow yarns, which is fine because I have a lot of them. For the creamy colors, they're all different, and I on purpose made the sizes of the stripes different, and I made just because I want to use up as much of the yarn as possible. So I finished the yarn here, so this is a little longer, and this actually turned out to be the right size. I also finished the yarn here, so I have like this much yarn left. I did my best to use up all the yarn as I can, and that's why I didn't make like 8 rows of this color, then 5 rows of the other, or anything like that, or keep it consistent like 8, 8, 8, because I want it to be inconsistent so I could use up all the yarn, and I think it looks great. It doesn't look bad. Now this is a wingspan already, so it's going to be a big shawl. I'm 5'4", and so it's a wingspan already, and I'm going to work until I finish this yarn. I want this yarn to be done by the time this shawl is done. And so I have this much left. I just went into the 2nd skein, so it's going to be a while. I think I'm going to start making, I kept the rows of these ones small because I was afraid I wouldn't have enough, and I feel like, okay, I have to start making bigger rows of this. meaning like more rows, because I'm doing like 5 or 6 rows right here and here. They're kind of smaller than the rest. I'll probably make them bigger, but my goal is to finish that yarn with the shawl. All right, so now that is what I've been up to. Now, how am I feeling about my crochet projects? I'm feeling a little bit frustrated. I am frustrated with this because it's not stretching. It would have been done so long ago if it was working out. The top is fine. It's just a little boring making panels, going back and forth. That's why I don't think I'll be able to. I mean, I shouldn't say I'll never do it, because who knows. But you know what, the blanket projects where you go all the way down a row and then you turn your work and then you go all the way back and then you turn your work and go all the way and you just make it go up like that. I don't think I will ever be able to make one of those blankets. I could be wrong. Who knows what's going to happen with future Lisa. But I just find them tedious, and I'm finding this top at the moment, like once I finish the back panel and I start working on the front panel where I have to figure out the V and everything, it'll get more interesting. But at the moment, it's just a little bit of a drag. This blanket, I was so happy with it. I was so incredibly happy with this blanket because I finally got the rectangle. But now that I got the rectangle, it's sort of like doing the same thing again. Now, I very rarely, I do make the same pattern twice. I'm not going to say I never do that. I have done it and I will probably do it again. But I usually put a lot of projects in between them. Like, I made the peekaboo shells the way Bag O' Day showed us originally already. And then after quite a few projects, I tried to make the rectangle. This one, I didn't wait for quite a few projects. I just finished this, took this yarn that I was using, this exact yarn that I was using here, and then made the center right there. You see, it's the same yarn. Right away, because I needed to prove to myself that I could make a rectangle. And so right now it's just getting a little tedious because I'm doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. But it's okay. I'll be fine. Did I take the stitch marker off this? Whatever. I'll check it later. But I'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm thinking that I need to take out yarn that isn't about finishing the yarn like this one is, but more about enjoying the yarn for my next project, which will probably be a shawl. I think I need to do something like that, like get yarn not to finish it but to enjoy it. I don't want to play this game of, okay, I want to use this yarn, what yarns can I pair with it? Like, just take something where I have enough yarn to use it from start to finish without having to figure out how to pair and how to separate and how to, you know, make it work. And just make something like that, something that challenges me a little bit more than these projects. This project did challenge me in the sense of making it into a rectangle, but once it has been a rectangle, it's the same thing over and over again as this. So, and that I just finished. But it is what it is. I'm not going to be able to start a new project until I finish something. It's just the way I work. Like, I need to complete something before I start a new one. And so I will probably, it's probably going to be this shawl. Honestly, because it's almost finished. It's probably going to be the shawl that finishes, and then I'll take something and make it just because to enjoy the yarn, to enjoy the project. Not that I'm not enjoying these projects, it's just I could enjoy it more. Okay? I think I'll put it that way. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to hear more from me, please subscribe. Bye.